All right, it's Wednesday, March the 4th, I believe. We just got out around 10:25, and I want to record some thoughts. There's several things that happened this morning that has affected my ability to take notes and to kind of reconstruct the events as I sit in that courtroom. And just a reminder, they don't let us take notes in the courtroom, okay? And also, my brother here said that they told him that you can't even whisper when the counsel approaches the bench and they play this like elevator music. They indicated that you can't even whisper when you're sitting in the audience courtroom, and everybody else is whispering. I mean, I don't know if that was an instruction just to Ken Hovind supporters, but also there's a main court officer that kind of is responsible for keeping order and saying all rise and stuff like that, and escorting the jury out. He's kind of like the lead dog when it comes to the court officers. And they were bringing in a parade of this horribles, a parade of witnesses, and they're showing document after document after document, and at the bottom of every single document is Ken Hovind's mugshot, right? It's like black and white, and it's like they're just trying to reinforce he was found guilty of this $430,000 structuring. He's been in prison. He's a prisoner. He's a prisoner. He's a prisoner. He was found guilty. He was found guilty. He was found guilty. And there's just it's just a parade of documents. It was so bad that one of the older African-American males has been sleeping, and the judge, after the jury left, even made a comment that, hey, this guy's been sleeping, and we need to address that, and maybe there's a medical reason. I'm not trying to say anything bad against him. You know, there could be a valid reason. But anyway, this Randall Hausner, that's his name, he's that lead dog, because I would exit anytime they did music, or anytime they would change witnesses, which has been a lot this morning. I would go out and try to write down important notes. And he told me when I came back in that he didn't say I'm not allowed to do it, but the way they do is they phrase it, we prefer you don't do that. Right? And it's said in such a stern way that if you break their rules, they're going to throw you out. They've already thrown Brady out, right? And my brother here has indicated that he believes, based on the fact that he was looking for one of the witnesses that we didn't get the name of, and he would look for him in the witness room or another part of the area, and I think he inquired, like, you know, how do we get the name of that witness? They told him, you know, and he went down to another floor, and one of the gentlemen approached him and said, who are you looking for? How did he know he was looking for somebody? It's almost like they got cameras in there monitoring every aspect of what we do. And a brother also told me that we're not allowed to whisper when the court reporter when counsel approaches the bench because it disrupts the court reporter. It's like, what the heck is that all about? Is there microphones in the pews, like listening to everything we're saying, and so the court reporter will pick up our conversations in the pews? It's just a really 1984 Brave New World type of environment. Let me also say that one of the big things from this morning's transcript, Scott Snyder is sitting at the prosecution table. He's been given this position of authority and respectability, and every time a witness gets up, she calls Scott Snyder, and Scott Snyder will show pictures of the property. Scott Snyder says this, Scott Snyder says that. And if you guys have ever read Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, there's Jean Valjean, I believe. And help me out, brothers, because it's like I'm pulling from memory and I can't look all this stuff up. But the main good guy in Les Miserables was Jean Valjean, and there was a bad guy named Inspector Javier. Inspector Javier from Les Miserables is just like Scott Snyder. He's got it in his brain that he's got to convict Ken Hovind. And it's absurd that after almost every witness, Scott Snyder gets up there and, like, you know, says all his part about it. It's like, why's he got such a special place at the prosecutor table, this IRS special agent? It's absolutely absurd. Let me tell you what I do remember from today's hearings. They brought Mrs. Styron, and she said something about the liens and the Liz pendants, and they kept showing all these documents with names on it, and flipping through the documents, and Ken Hovind and Paul Hansen, Liz pendant, lien, and you know, and that's why I guess putting that older African American guy to sleep, and it's almost putting me to sleep too. Except I'm trying my best to pay attention so I can take notes as I have to exit the courthouse. We only got like 5 minutes left. I want to get back in there and make sure I don't miss anything. They did call Ken Hovind's son-in-law. His name is Timothy Paul Dublin, I believe, and one of the things I want to point out is they referenced a phone call between Josh Jocelyn and Paul Dublin, and I don't remember quite if Paul Dublin told him that Josh Jocelyn called him, or if the government told. If the government. Go ahead, brother. Well, I'm just thinking, how did the heck they know about that phone call?
They asked him if him and Joshua see each other regularly,
or
just call him out of the blue.
Oh, okay.
And the answer was Josh. Contact
call
out of the blue.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I guess that's what notified him of the phone call. But it's like You know, it's like, you know, why are they bringing up personal conversation between Josh Jocelyn and Paul Dublin about it? And they asked him what was the contents of that conversation, and Paul said that Josh Jocelyn was trying to describe to me the difference between I do not recall and I don't know. Now, I need to go look that up. I guess there's some kind of legal difference between I do not recall and I do not know. Let me also say this contempt of court. If it's civil contempt of court, one brother told me that the maximum sentence is 18 months. Now, everything I'm saying, brothers and sisters, you guys need to confirm. I'm in a truck. I got like 5 minutes to get back. I'm doing the best I can. But another brother told me that if it's criminal contempt of court, that there's no time limit on that. That the judge, Margaret Casey Rogers, can put unlimited time on him if he gets convicted for criminal contempt of court. You know what this judge is going to do to our brother Ken Hovind if they bring that against him. They kept showing the value of the property when Paul Dublin was testifying. I think the government sold it to him for $40,000. Although it was appraised like many years earlier at like 65 or 67. I can't remember the exact number. But Paul Dublin says that he thought that that was even overpriced because the value of the property and the condition of the flooring and everything else he had cited. The Scott Snyder, I can't stress that enough. This guy shouldn't be at the prosecuting table. They brought in Evelyn Keller. Evelyn Keller is a prison investigation specialist, and she said that she didn't personally, they like supposedly went into Kent's belongings and found some piece of evidence, and they keep
CD.
It was a CD, and or they either put documents on the CD or the CD was actually found in his prison. I need to get that clarified. But it's like you got to understand, Ken Hovind was a powerful man of God, spoke truth every time he opened his mouth. And once they got him behind bars, you got to understand the significance of this, brothers and sisters, because I think a lot of you guys are not picking this up. Once they got him behind bars, it's like they got him now. Every single thing he does, every phone call he makes, every single communication that comes out of his mouth is monitored. And they've been monitoring him for 8 years, and they're going to bring out the fact he said dog crap. The worst thing they found out about him was that he said dog crap. In 8 years, that's the worst thing you can find to say about a man. They bringing out every communication, and we got to keep that in mind. They monitor all of his communication. So they brought in this investigation specialist named Evelyn Keller, and she testified about something they found in his jail cell. To me, it didn't look like a big deal at all. They keep showing the documents with his mugshot to reinforce to the jury that he's been in prison, that he's a criminal. The Randall Hausner, when he told me I can't take breaks, he's basically trying to limit my ability to collect my thoughts. And he said I can't leave except once every 2 hours. So I'm only allowed to leave the courtroom to collect my thoughts on notes once every 2 hours. And that's per Randall Hausner. And I thought that was incredibly wrong. They're trying to limit my ability to get these YouTube video or YouTube audios out. Brothers, is there any other significant points I'm missing? Anything that we need to capture from the court this morning? I thought it was incredibly intrusive that they brought in Paul Dublin, Ken Hovind's son-in-law, and they put him on the stand like that. It's like, what were we living in Russia, where you bring in your son-in-law and like, so what if he's communicating with it? They're acting like it's a bad thing. Like, you communicated with your dad about filing a form with the government. Oh my goodness, what are you trying to do? You're trying to argue with the government? Like
trying to challenge the government.
Yeah, it's like they're making a big deal of the fact that Ken Hovind challenges the government. How dare you communicate with your son-in-law and challenge something about the property? Well, the $430,000, I'm going to say this again in closing, that's not their money. They seized that money from Ken Hovind. That was Ken Hovind's legal money. And they're acting like that was their money now, and they keep saying this jury convicted him. Let me say this, folks, as well, and I don't mean to slam this jury. All I know is what I see, and I'm not going to slam them. But I'll say this is a truthful statement. It does not reflect on this current jury. But you don't need to have a case if you got a stupid jury. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything about this jury.
Did you talk about the one juror that's...
Yeah, I did mention the one juror's going to sleep, and maybe there's a medical condition. I'm not going to slam them.
You might mention that the IRS has recently come out and said, hey, we're sorry about applying structuring to law-abiding citizens.
That's right.
If you guys would just look up structuring and the IRS, they've taken advantage of widows, taken advantage of legal business owners, seized their money. Some woman had $33,000 of her restaurant money seized without cause. Some widow had $19,000 of her her deceased husbands.
Yep.
See, I mean,
amen, brother.
On and on.
Congress needs to not only say it's not only good enough to apologize, but you got to make this. You got to make it a law, not just a policy change, and you got to make it retroactive. Ken Hovind needs to get his money back, and he needs to be let out of prison. Needs to be retroactive. So that's all I got to say for now. We got to get back in there. I don't want to miss anything.
Did you talk about they subpoenaed Ernie Land?
Oh, right. That's a very important point, brother. Yes. They've subpoenaed Ernie at a coffee shop, and this is what I heard. So it needs to be confirmed, guys. But I heard Ernie Land was sitting at a coffee shop. 2 U.S. Marshals showed up with 1 U.S. Marshal standing on the outside, and he received a subpoena. When I saw Ernie Land this morning, he shook my hand. He held up the subpoena. I assume it was a subpoena. I didn't look at it carefully. And Ernie Land said, "This is how they shut you up."
And they said he can't come in the court.
He can't even come in the courtroom and witness and everything. And now he can't talk about the case because he's been subpoenaed as a witness. It's absurd what's going on in Pensacola, Florida.
But IRS Special Agent Scott Snyder, even though he's a witness, he's been sitting through
at the prosecution table.
Court proceedings at the prosecution table.
Yep.
And Tiffany Hope Eggers consults with him every time she comes up and wants to know if he's getting more information. Yeah, you guys don't need to wash over this fact that Scott Schneider, which is the Les Miserables Inspector Javier that was after John Van Jol, or whatever his name was, that he's consulted after every single witness. Do you have anything fun? It's almost like they're using Scott Snyder's specialized knowledge as a prosecution. It's not right that this IRS agent is consulted so many times. And may God, oh my goodness, okay. Well, I'll just shut up now, and I think we got the main things, but Ernie Land has been subpoenaed, and he's not able to attend in court while Scott Snyder sits there at that prosecution table. We got to get back in and make sure we don't miss anything. Please keep Ken Hovind in your prayers. Come down here and support him if you're in the area.